Welcome back as always, guys. It's the proper way to start out a video. If you guys have followed me for any amount of time, you know that I am a huge fan and proponent of primary arms optics. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I got a couple of new things to show you, but before we do, you're going to have to indulge me in a little conversation first, because there's some things I want to say, and well, you know, it's my channel and my video, so I can say it. I've been dealing with primary arms for some years now. I have got one of their original micro red dots that goes back to the early 2000s. Like, it was like the first run micro red dot that they ever produced, and I still have that optic. It's been on 3 or 4 different guns, and to this day it still works just fine. They have come a long way since that early gen micro dot. To me, their various lines of etched reticle optics are absolutely hands down the best ones for the armed prepared citizen. That's my opinion. Yours may be different, and that's fine too. There are other companies out there that make optics with etched reticles. They're not the only one. If that suits your flavor, then fine, go for it. But there's a couple of things that I think Primary Arms offers that nobody else does. Number one, and this is a big personal one for me, they're not afraid to have me talk about their stuff. They haven't contacted me and said, hey, we wish you'd not talk about our stuff. You wouldn't believe how many companies in the gun industry love to take your money, but they don't want a channel like this where we're talking about the armed prepared citizen to be even loosely associated, you know, with them at all or promoting their stuff. They don't want to. They don't like it. But moving on. That's just a big personal one for me. Secondly, one of the reasons I think Primary Arms is the best is because of the quality and the price point that you get. Now, there's a lot of people out there that will knock Primary Arms and complain about them, whatever, because it's not, their stuff isn't the, you know, multi-$1,000 optics, which they do have some that get up there over $1,000. They'll cite that it's not what the cool kid club's using, KKK trademark. They come up with all kind of reasons, and none of them are valid, right? The quality and price point that you can get a good Primary Arms optic at is second to none in my opinion. The ACSS reticle that Dimitri has designed in all of its various flavors is absolutely hands down, again, for the armed prepared citizen, the best reticles out there for multiple reasons. Number one, you'll notice that he doesn't just have one reticle. Different optics use different reticles. They're all based around the core of the ACSS system, but they're all tailored for different roles. They're not trying to do a one-size-fits-all thing. You can get the optic specifically for what you need. The reticle itself, the features that are designed into the reticles, hands down the best in my layman's opinion. Additionally, the etched reticle optics, like Primary Arms, for the armed citizen are perfect because you never ever have to worry about batteries. the etched reticle's always there. Now that's true of any etched reticle optic, not just primary arms, but when you combine everything else with primary arms, the quality, the price, the ACSS reticle, it's etched, etc., etc., that's what all adds up to me for being the best. Now, before anybody says it, no, I'm not shilling for them. They didn't pay me to say this. They didn't pay me to make this video. I don't get a dime for making this video. They probably won't ever even know that I've made this video unless one of them's nutty enough to actually come to the channel and watch it. I'm saying it because I like their stuff. I've used their stuff. I know what it's capable of. And I want you guys to get another opinion besides some of the naysayers out there and know that these are good, viable optics for the armed citizen, that you can save some money and get, arguably in my opinion, better optics than if you spent more money on something else. Again, just my wooden nickel. So that all said, let's jump into the two new things. For a few years now, you guys have heard me repeatedly talk about the primary arm Cyclops, their 1X microsight. I love the Cyclops. Cyclops is great. I've got multiple Cyclops on my guns. For a 1X optic, I think they're, again, the best option out there for me. I never have to worry about battery life. I've always got a reticle. If I do need it for low light use, I can illuminate it. End of the world happens and everything gets EMP'd and zombies show up, I'm still going to have that etched reticle. It's going to work. My gun's going to run. I wasn't sure that there would be anything to surpass the Cyclops. I was wrong. Primary arms, not being one to rest on their laurels, come up with this little bad boy, which you've probably already seen on other channels. I'm a little behind the curve. This is the new Gen 2 Cyclops. It's their 1X Micro Prism. Yeah, they have surpassed the Cyclops. Now, the original Gen 1 Cyclops is still perfectly viable. If that's what you got and running it, don't think you got to replace it, okay? I'm not replacing mine. However, if you're just now trying to decide, this one is the bomb. So, a couple of things different about this Gen 2. So, first off, you'll notice it's smaller than the Gen 1. You've got the same field of view, but it's smaller. Instead of using a Aimpoint T1 base, it uses a mini ACOG base. Plenty of manufacturers out there making aftermarket mounts for the mini ACOG. In fact, just about everybody I know of that makes T1 mounts makes mini ACOG mounts. So you can still get your favorite flavor there. That said, the factory mount that comes with it is fine. There is literally nothing wrong. I run a lot of these factory mounts on my various optics and never have had any issues with it at all. Would not hesitate to use that. Speaking of that, it comes with this medium height, and we'll say it's medium height, straight riser, but then you also get 3 other cantilevered risers that are each different heights, and you can mix and match and combine the straight one with the cantilever ones and configure it however you want it to need to position it on your gun, excuse me, and get the right height that you need for how high you want it set up. Easy to do. Comes with the extra screws, etc., etc. A couple other features on this. Some guys have complained about the reticle on the Gen 1 Cyclops being too small. I've never found that to be an issue because for a long time I used simple red dot sights. Simple 2 MOA red dot is far smaller than the etched reticle in a Gen 1 Cyclops. So if you can use the single dot, you can easily use the etched reticle in the Gen 1. That said, enough people said they wanted it bigger, so in this one, the reticle is, yes, you're right, bigger than in the Gen 1. You still keep all of your range finding marks at the bottom. Still got your horseshoe and your chevron, but it's bigger than what it was in the Gen 1. So if that's something you're looking for, there you go. I like them both. I take either one, doesn't matter to me. This has the auto live feature. So you can turn on the illumination on this, illuminate the reticle, set the gun down. After a certain amount of time of it not moving, it turns off. As soon as you pick it back up and it detects movement, it comes on. That could be a handy feature for setting up a home defense gun. If you want to turn the reticle on and then have it ready to go for use in the middle of the night, so that when you get up, all you got to do is pick it up and boom, the reticle comes on for you automatically in the dark. Now speaking of that, that's about the only time I can ever envision illuminating this reticle is in the dark. I've seen people complain about the reticle in the Gen 1 not being daylight bright. I've never understood this. I never will understand this. For the life of me, I do not know why in daylight you would ever want to illuminate the etched reticle. The black etched reticle is the best thing to have in bright daylight. Absolutely the best. It works perfectly. So I don't know why you don't want to illuminate it, but apparently some people do. So they've increased the brightness on this. It's daylight bright. Again, don't know why, but people wanted it. You've got 13 brightness settings, a couple of night vision settings. The front bezel is threaded, so you can put like a kill flash or diffuser on there. You'll notice that the adjustments are not covered, but that is not an issue. It's all sealed up and waterproof, and they're recessed, and the clicks and detents are tight enough. I don't see how you could ever get this thing to accidentally get your zero changed. Cool thing on the adjustments, it's got a regular slot in it, so you can use a coin, screwdriver, whatever. But then there's also a cross slot that just so happens to perfectly fit the rim of a lot of different shell casings, like a 5.56, 9mm, etc., etc. You can put the rim in the shell casing in there. Instant sight adjustment tool. It's small, it's lightweight, it's compact. This thing is phenomenal. You still retain also the diopter to adjust it for your eyes. For you young bucks, do not take this for granted, because I was where you were at once upon a time, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And now at my age, I am thoroughly happy to have the diopter on there. The etched reticle and the diopter has literally saved my sanity for shooting versus my old red dots that I used to use with my degraded eyesight and astigmatism. Now, moving on to the next one. Told you I had two things to show you, right? Let's get a recharge. The very, very, very first etched reticle optic that I ever got from Primary Arms was one of their 3X Prism scopes. That was a few years back. I loved it immediately. As soon as I put it on the gun and started shooting with it, I was like, yes, yes, and oh yes. It was, I think I remember calling it a poor man's ACOG, because it's literally what to me it was. I still have that, and it's on a very, very important gun. The downside is, just like with an ACOG, the 3X was fairly large, and I don't mean it's big, but compared to like a micro sight, it's large, just like an ACOG is. And fast forward a few years, Primary Arms comes out with their 2X Cyclops. I'm calling it Cyclops, I'm not calling it. They got 2X prisms. Smaller, lighter weight, got a couple of those. I got one in 5.56 and one in 7.62 by 3.9 on two of my matching AR AK Woods guns. Love them. Those 2X sights are they're the bomb. Then Primary Arms goes and does something that just stuck a hot knife into my brain. I was not expecting this. They come out with this. This is the new 3X Micro Prism. Yes, this is a 3X sight. 1X Gen 2 Cyclops, 3X Micro. Yeah. So let's talk about this one real quick. So, same as the new Gen 2 Cyclops mini ACOG mounting base, you get 3 different height cantilever attachments and then 1 straight attachment. Mix and match as you need to get the desired height and location. Like I said, mini ACOG mount. Really a lot of the same features as the Gen 2 Cyclops. You've got threaded bezel for kill flash. Same kind of windage and elevation adjustments on the turrets. Illuminated etched reticle. Diopter adjustment on the rear. The difference is in the reticle. This has got the Cyclops reticle in the 1X. This has got a modified version of the Raptor reticle. Now the Raptor reticle, I've got one of the original Gen 1 1:6 variable Raptors. That reticle is freaking awesome. Well, they've basically put that reticle in this 3X, and I gotta tell you, that's gonna be a bad little mama jama combo right there. Again, shares features with the other one, with the 1X of the Auto Live technology. You can illuminate the reticle, set it down, goes off, pick it back up, comes back on. What else? Oh yeah, same thing as far as you've got like 13 illumination settings, night vision settings. Again, I don't know why you'd ever want to illuminate it outside of a low light situation, but it is daylight bright. I don't get that still, but there you go. For those of you that want it, it's there. Oh, one other thing I just thought of, and this reminded me, this has got quarter MOA adjustments for the windage and elevation, and the 1X has 1 MOA adjustments on the elevation and windage. And there seems to be some folks that take issue with the 1X having 1 MOA adjustments. Literally, Dimitri has pointed out that this is a 1X sight, because the guys were complaining about the elevation adjustments at various ranges out like 400 yards. And it's like, it's a 1X sight, guys. You're not going to be shooting 2-inch groups at 400 yards with a 1X sight. That's a bit optimistic of your skills. I would be very impressed to see someone that can take a 1X sight and shoot 2-inch groups at 400 yards with it. So just to touch on that, the 1 MOA adjustments on here is not an issue. Zeroed at 50 yards or 100 yards. 100 yards is what I recommend. If you zeroed at 50 yards, your holes are only going to be off by like an inch. So it's not a big deal. You're still going to be minute to man, minute to bad guy out to 300, which 300 is really pushing it in a real life, real world situation on a man-sized target. Now, Yes, you might be able to pick up that nice stationary target on your pristine manicured range at a further distance, but in the real world application of using this, which is what this is, maybe nobody will admit that and come out and say it, but I'll come out and say it. This is not a target sight for the range. This is a fighting optic. This is to fight bad guys with, right? In a real world situation with that, out to 300, you're going to be plenty good with it. So for whatever that's worth, take it to you. Even on my best days when I was younger, every award I ever got from Uncle Sam was for shooting, and I had really good eyesight at 18. Not so much anymore, but I digress. But even then, 400 yards with no magnification, doing little, nah. Even with a great rifle and great ammo, I couldn't do that. You gotta have some magnification to do that. So anyway, we won't ramble on about that any longer. But check them out, guys. I know the 1X is already available for pre-order. I'll put a link to the blog site in the description box as always. Go over to the blog site. At the blog site, I will have links up to this where you can get in on the pre-order. They don't have pre-order links up yet for the 3X. As soon as that happens, I will get the links up for you to go get it. But I will put up link up for this. I would highly encourage you, if you want one of these, to get in on the pre-order, because I got a feeling these suckers are they're gonna go stupid fast. So there's my pitch for the day. If you are looking for the best armed prepared citizen optics, these are two great options from my preferred company. There you go. If you got any questions, guys, ask them. I'll try to answer them as best I can. I've got a very special use for these that will be part of an upcoming video, so look forward to that. It's going to take a little while, but once I get that all put together, I will show you what I'm going to do with these. Hopefully I'll be able to get out to the range and we can do a little shooting with them and maybe do a follow-up on both of them. So anyway, take care, guys. Stay safe. Keep training. Keep preparing. I'll see you in another one.